I'm Omega with Fanatically Correct, and I have a co-host today again. We're going to be doing this a thing. Co-host now.
Because now we're named.
Because now we're going to do a thing. Hence, right behind me, got a coffee station. So we're going to do this official intro, and then I'm going to start making coffee while we talk. And we do have a topic today. Remind you, I'm Omega with Fanatically Correct. Again, Anthony, Ram Fam Collectibles. Yo. And, of course, check out our link tree, linktr.ee/fancorrect. Fanaticallycorrect.com will get you there too, and of course RamFam Collectibles.
Yeah, ramfamcollectibles.com. Free shipping over $99 worldwide. Same day, next day shipping. It's the
Mr.
best.
Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. Now,
what's up, RamFam fans?
What's up, RamFam fans?
I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna start making the coffee and stuff, and we're gonna press play back there because
they're not gonna hear anything.
I love it. They're not gonna hear, but this is what we have it for us as reference. I gave Anthony a little homework assignment the last time we met on episode 0.
Mid 30s, and I have a homework assignment.
Yeah, but he completed the homework.
I completed it.
Actually, you did extra credit. You did extra credit. I only did the bare minimum, but I have it in my history already. I've done it, but I definitely needed a refresher. There was a lot I didn't remember and how it all happened. This right there is the first thing we're going to start referencing, but we're watching. We're going to review in this episode and let it go where it takes us, talking about things as well. But we're going to review the Spawn series. This is episode 1. Yes. That's on HBO Max. Well, Max now. It's just Max. Yep. It's a series from the 90s, animated.
So I thought I thought this was from like early 2000.
It might be. It's either late 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah, this is like 2003, but Spawn came about in the late mid 90s by Todd McFarlane. And if you watch this, I would highly recommend it. This thing is gruesome and it's raw.
Yes.
At first, like the first 30 seconds in, I'm like, man, this reminds me of Batman the Animated Series. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then but
it got real.
I don't want to spoil it.
It gets really rated R real quick.
Then right away, 4 people get brutally murdered. So yeah, and when we were watching it, they have this cool. It reminds me of not Goosebumps, but there was this old skeleton.
I'm gonna tell you now. Tales from the Crypt.
That's what
it is. Max. So HBO did Tales from the Crypt.
There
so it was HBO at the time. This was HBO, and of course, yeah, they're doing that Tales from the Crypt intro, which still comes from the Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock, that bring out the host and creator out first to
sets
say
a tone,
a few things. Yeah, exactly.
And that's what he does. He's like, hey, turn off the light. He talks about Spawn and the paths, the things that he has to cross. But what's really cool is how Todd sets the tone. He's like, hey, turn off your lights. And just by saying that, it prompted me to actually watch. I should turn off these lights.
It's just dark animation, so it does come out better with the lights off.
It looks really good. He did a great job, and he looks really young,
super young. Well, that's what's funny.
Hair.
Right at the gate is and you're also the way he talks, even he's much younger, and not as confident, obviously, because he hasn't been around
almost amateurish.
Yes,
but not in a negative.
No,
way.
not in a negative way. Just obviously, he's just not seasoned. He's not. This is his first big breakout. Taking lead on the camera.
I didn't understand this 9999.
I don't know.
They referenced it in later. I know. Excuse me. We'll talk about it.
But I have to do with some timing.
I think it had to do portal or teleporting or something. I don't remember. I don't know a ton about Spawn, but this definitely hooked me because it is gruesome. It's dark and it just throws you in.
Yeah.
It's not like if you watch Batman, it's not just I'm Batman. You saw Batman's origin story, when he was a kid. This one's I'm just Spawn. I just murdered all these people.
Well, I remember. I think Batman kind of did it the same way the animated series. Other words, you're right. A lot of other ways that they introduced Batman. But I remember the animated series similar. I think it was the first episode was a Penguin episode, and they kind of did the same thing. He was already Batman, and then they started getting everything through flashbacks,
right,
as to how he ended up there. Now, from what I'm gathering, so we're just talking about episode 1, so you already have a better idea because you already went 2 and 3, and I don't remember how it played out, but by just seeing episode 1 so far as a refresher, they didn't give us everything yet.
No.
So it looks I believe all of season 1 is back. In other words, it's him going through this while you're getting the backstories how he's ended up here. And this is not much of a spoiler, but it starts 5 years in.
Yeah.
So it's been 5 years since. I mean, this is big spoiler. You shouldn't be watching the Spawn animated series if you haven't know anything about the comic books or the movie that they did in the 2000s as well. Which is the character is a Hellspawn. Yeah,
I did not understand this for the first time I was watching it. This guy's on his knees and he's just absolutely fucking terrified.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, that's why. And this exact moment was when I was like, oh, this isn't Batman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And then there's other scenes later. I'm like, oh, okay. Like
dude,
you cannot have kids in the room. Like
this is wild.
This is like even in animation, Max is like, yeah, let's show this stuff.
Dude, hang on. Let me look at this. First 5 minutes in, this dude's got a shotgun to his skull. And he's begging for his fucking life, and then it goes off.
And then Spawn shows up and does all kinds of vicious mayhem.
So. I'm a huge Venom fan, but I assume Spawn is the anti-hero in the DC multi.
In the Image. Well, he started Image. No, Spawn is Image. He has nothing
to do with DC?
Nothing to do with DC, nothing to do with Marvel. Now, the only crossovers...
Yeah, I know Marvel.
They've done crossovers. So they had a Batman crossover. I don't know if they've done any Marvel crossovers. They usually do DC crossovers.
So who's Image? Who's in that?
Image, so McFarlane, that's their... okay, so this is now we're talking comics. Because, McFarlane's stronger from the collectibles. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the McFarlane and the collectibles, and, of course, the McFarlane action figures. We talked about it in episode 0 about that. But in the comic world... Image is kind of a huge thing because what that is, it's like a profit sharing. So every McFarlane kind of broke the mold with all that and started bringing in like him people who were writers and comic book artists for Marvel, for DC that weren't getting paid what they would like to get paid for their creativity. And of course, we're held back and had to follow rules on like what you can write, what you can draw, how you can do it. But their style, him and I think like Jim Lee and all these different people who got it during that era. Like the prints and the drawings and the artwork, and they had to start using the plastic paper, which changed comic books forever. It just makes them so much better.
Yep.
And then Image is, I think, like there's a few other. I'm not a big reader, especially lately, of comic books, so I'm gonna get corrected like crazy on this. But what I do know is like all the artists, they get. Like they give a certain amount of the proceeds goes back in house.
Oh, right.
To go towards the printing and all that.
Nice.
But there are an owner.
I got a lot of skin in the
stuff.
game.
Yeah, a lot of skin in the game. They get the majority of their profits from their stuff. So it is kind of a shared universe, but it doesn't have to be. So, it all depends on his. So it's an independent. So they've done crossovers because, of course, they'll come to agreement. Like Marvel and DC have done crossovers.
Right.
So it can happen, dude. This is just totally
brutal. First 3 people to die. One guy gets shot from behind, knowing that he's going to die. And that's the guy with the scary face. Yeah, the second guy gets a shotgun to the skull, and it's held there for like a good 10 seconds, having a conversation before they blow his skull off.
Yeah.
And then the last guy that's shot in the calf because he started to run, he gets doused in gasoline before Spawn eventually makes his entrance, and then I don't want to spoil.
And then that idiot. I mean, this is the anti-hero thing. There's things that happen where Spawn's being a good guy, but if you don't mess up, I'm gonna go with the FAFO. Fuck around, find out.
Exactly.
And that's what happens to Spawn. It's like, I was here to save you, but you're gonna fuck around, you'll find out.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have to commit to saving you. I just say, I'm more committed to the violence, but. As you start to see the story unfold of what Spawn is, of course, it makes sense.
He's not the Spawn. He's a Spawn.
So it's almost like the Mask of Zorro, Phantom. Phantom 2029.
Yep.
Phantom. It's a passed down thing.
He's like a lieutenant or higher up.
I'm gonna tell you really, and then you see it. You know who McFarlane's influences are. Obviously, Spider-Man. Obviously, Batman with the whole cape and all that, and Deadpool and Spider-Man with the mask and all that, and obviously Ghost Rider, because this is a very Ghost Rider-like story.
Yeah. Makes a deal with the devil.
Making a deal with the devil, and then they've played with that where there's been multiple Ghost Riders.
Right.
So same thing.
Right.
So each Hellspawn will have a mission, and usually, remember, it's about a war between heaven and hell.
Yeah.
So, there'll be archangels and stuff like that, and usually a Hellspawn gets killed by an archangel or whatever happens, and then vacancy.
I need a new guy.
Yeah.
Is Todd McFarlane a religious dude?
I don't know. I
mean, there's not a lot
grew
of
up. No, but he most likely
hints
grew
to
up.
this,
Like it's like the show Supernatural and things like that. Obviously, the writers, the creators, and I would say him too, probably grew up somewhat Catholic. And the reason I say Catholic is he's heavy in the angels and the saints and that type of stuff. But some form of Christianity, or you know what I mean. But
this dude,
the Verminator,
dude.
I'm sorry, I didn't
douchebag.
Yeah, I do, dude, and it should be like. they played with it okay with John Leguizamo in the movie.
So that was
What?
my first introduction.
Yeah.
So I actually, I'd say that back when I was a
This
kid.
is a whole nother.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I did. My dad bought me like a Spawn comic, like a Spider-Man comic, whatever, random comics. So like I had them around the house. I didn't really like get into them. If anything, I liked looking at the pictures more than I liked reading them. But I was very unappreciative of the art. But I remember him because I saw the one from the 90s with John Leguizamo, and then I don't know the other actor's name. But I liked that movie. It was, giving it time. I thought it was cool.
That's what it is for when it was and what was available to you. Yeah, and
I
like
definitely
the
don't
actor.
remember it right now. But I will say, this guy, so far in the last couple episodes that I've seen him, what a douchebag. And I love it. He's such an asshole.
He is a demon, so...
Yeah. Like, so there's one scene, I don't give a shit, I'm spoiling it, but there's one scene he's looking at, I think his name's Al, right?
Oh, the detective?
No,
him,
Spawn.
yeah.
His
Al.
name's Al.
I believe so, yeah.
So he's like, hey, you came back here because you wanted to go see your wife. So he looks at a picture of his wife and he puts his hands in his pants.
Dude. Yeah, so vulgar, bro, vicious.
And then when Spawn's like, yo, you better stop that or I'm going to make your ass into your face or whatever, he goes, yeah, my bad, man, and then grabs his
and wipes on it. It's the most vulgar character ever,
That's
man.
amazing.
No, and I will tell you, obviously, so no kids in the room for this episode of the show for what we're talking about with Spawn. But yeah, Spawn's a hard R, you know what I mean, comic series, and
yeah, dude, probably don't introduce this to your like young
no,
son.
No.
Or daughter.
I mean, I remember I was like late teens when I started watching this, but yeah, definitely not a early tweens even. Like,
Sorry.
And unfortunately, it is like the character of Spawn, because I remember that was a thing. Like, I got into obviously before the show, and I got into the comic books quick because the artwork was amazing. And I'll be honest, I mean, that was back in the day where it was just the mom and pop comic book shops. It wasn't, some shops were big or whatever, but not like now where it's just so much because of collectibles. You have places like Tate's and you have places like Nowhere Comics and all these big, like, huge spots, and up like Acme Superstore and Super Anime Store. And like, it's just a huge conglomerate now. Back then it was just kind of like and which we still have a bunch of those too, but it's like just comic books, just the one guy there all day, and you go and you talk to him, he let you know. And there wasn't a high responsibility of what age appropriate comic book purchasing was. And we were walking out with Spawn comic books, and we shouldn't have been, because you get in the animated series, you get in the comic books as well. So I mean, but of course at 13, 14, whatever, like right up my alley. You know what I mean? Just the violence and whatever. Like, you just like it was really up there.
It's kind of like when Grand Theft Auto came out, man. I can't run people over. I'd like to, but I can't.
But you can in Grand Theft
But I can,
Auto.
I can pick up a whore and run over a group of people.
Dude, I still play GTA 5.
Do you really?
Day. Of course, yeah. I log in like once a week for like at least a half hour, just to relieve stress.
You should probably see a therapist.
I'm gonna tell you now, so I'm gonna throw one out there, and you'll laugh. One of the things I do. Hopefully, this doesn't get used in recording it too one day.
So I've been through depositions.
I know. And Grand Theft Auto is, dude, especially in the 954. Certain weekends, we get the bicyclists are aggravating.
Oh my God,
and I'm sorry if I lose you as a fan, but the bicyclists are a nightmare. Dude. And you know why? Because they take the lights and I don't.
There's like a million of them.
I don't think it's right that that sadly there are hit and run situations, but sadly sometimes it's their fault. That doesn't mean they deserve it, but it happens. They take a light because they think they can do that. They can take lights, and not all of them. There's a lot of responsible ones, and the more responsible will go on trails, and tracks like that. But you just have the specific douchebag bicyclist that's why he does it, and he puts it like on the lowest, like the highest speed, so he's just going nowhere, moving his feet 100 miles per hour, just blocking traffic, and then like just taking the light or just getting in the lane, and after I have a day of that GTA, I'm like, where the bicyclists where the bicyclists at? And then it sucks because they don't really have like inner city like bicycling like we have here, like so you got to go out to like, so like I am running over the guy that doesn't deserve it. Like,
this guy just like left his house, like he's got a newborn
but if I'm on the expressway and he's off the side of the road, I'm like, yes. Like,
the worst are the ones that are on their dirt bikes or motorcycles. They'll pop a wheelie, but then they'll go in traffic that's going against. So they'll go on the wrong side.
That's
of
motorcycle.
traffic.
I'm talking about bicyclists.
No.
You're talking about motorcycle.
I'm talking about dirt bikes.
Dirt bikes.
Dirt bikes. And they'll just like dodging cars, and it's like, dude, I don't know what to do. Do I dodge or you dodge? Because if you dodge left and I dodge,
if you zig when I zag,
dude, it ain't good. Like, why put me in that circumstance?
Yeah.
But thankfully, there's people like Spawn.
There's Bullock,
dude.
Bullet, or is it Bullet or Bullock?
I think
in
it's
Batman.
Bullock. Oh,
In the Batman, his name is Bullock. I don't know what his
You're
name
gonna
is.
convince it.
I don't remember
You're
now.
gonna-
But it's what you're saying, the generic.
oh, dude, this is the guy that's been on the force for like 30 years. He has. So I noticed every time he comes to a crime scene, he lights a cigarette right there.
Yep.
He's got his like number 2 that's actually like the rational thinker that does like all the work. He's just like putting the big pieces. Like he's got gray hair. He's fat. His face is all mushed up. He's like, I want to eat donuts. He's like destroying the crime scene. Like he's stepping in blood and like smearing stuff, dropping donuts on people's face. Like he's just like this old battered cop.
We
That's
always
just like, dude, you should retire.
we always joke about that. Hold on, so we go. So Polito time. Start coming here. Start catching the first draw of coffee.
Oh, you catch it with a spoon?
Yeah, this is what you broke your shoulder with, right?
Yeah. I have the frother and I pour it in. I pour in like the first couple of couple nuts that get busted. I don't see anything wrong with you dying, okay? 5 years later. Okay, I die, right? I'm Spawn. I'm Al.
Yeah.
I die. 5 years later, I come back. I'm not going to be upset if my best friend is now with my wife.
Best friend.
I mean, who would I rather her be with? Some fucking nobody.
Die faithful. That's
Well, I guess evidently she's always wanted kids. I mean, she's happy now, right? Like
Oh, but
I
there's-
died. Like it wasn't. This
so
is
you never
a
read.
conspiracy.
You never read Spawn the comics. You only saw the show. I mean, the movie.
this.
So you know
This
what's
is the
up.
movie.
You know what's up in the movie with the kid. Spoiler alerts.
No, I don't remember.
How old does that kid look, man?
She's like 4. Dude,
5.
it happened shortly after he died.
What? Exactly. That's his kid.
No, it's not his kid.
That's his kid.
He couldn't have kids. They even reference it.
Oh.
He says, "No, I couldn't have kids. She didn't want to adopt. She wanted to have her own kids. It's my
so
fault."
It's all about her.
So my thought is, I mean, shortly after he died, which potentially, because I haven't gotten that part, was very
They're gonna
gruesome.
spread out sprinklers or something.
Just blow.
AV Club, take care of your stuff. Well, he has a T station, so we're good.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
There's a fire extinguisher right there. Anyways, so he dies. I guess what had happened was his. He went to go console her. They probably knew each other for years.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm completely.
Well, yeah, they're
speculating.
gonna get into it. They're gonna get into it in the show. It's just one of those things. Like, hey, 5 years is it?
Dude, that's a long
it's a
fucking
long
time. I
It's a long
spent
time.
4 years in the Marine
you
Corps.
gotta understand him though. It's remember he went. He doesn't know.
This is like
for
day
him. It's
one.
not 5 years. For
This
him,
is
it's
day one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For him, it's like yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For him, it's like yesterday. So it's like.
But he
memory.
knows in this instance, he knows it's been 5
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Well,
he
yeah,
just
'cause
doesn't
he's-
understand what's
Well,
going on.
he's telling him now. That's why the
Dude,
Verminator's
he's giving him like
flaming.
shit pie.
Yeah,
or-
dude. It's bro. They're demons, man. They're gonna be heinous. See, now that's the funny thing too. Like in the movie, they made the character a kid, but like that homeless guy that was like befriending him earlier. That's that character that the kid plays in the movie. And
they
I
made that
don't-
into a kid?
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. You know what I mean?
It should have been the old. I like this old guy, the older guy that's helping.
They did it because that's the thing. Remember, the movie is PG-13.
Oh yeah, that's why then.
This animated series are, and I think that because it's a Max, I almost feel like I got to go over the comic books again because I feel like this animated series might be more hardcore than the comics.
Oh, maybe.
Because I think that on the comic books, he probably, even though he had control and it's his own comic book company, I think because he knew what hands it could end up in.
I'm gonna Google something.
Yeah, check it out.
Because I
I
say
think
something.
I think there might be a little bit more hardcore in Max since he knew it was a late night R adult premium series that he knew his audience was for sure just going to be adults and you have to risk it.
I'm willing to bet yes, and here's why.
Okay.
When I was younger, you had to buy HBO. It was an extra
Yeah, it was a
on
premium
your
channel.
on your cable package, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you buy HBO, right? What else can you watch on there?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Watch all the dirty
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, Skinny Max.
Dude,
Yeah, Skinny
Bunny
Max.
House?
Not Max, Skinny Max. Yeah.
Do you remember Bunny House?
Yes, yes.
What an amazing
And was it
piece
Kendra?
of cinematic
Yeah.
masterpiece of porn. Dude, that place was like in Arizona or something. I
Yeah.
forget wherever prostitution or whatever.
Oh, Bunny
loophole.
Ranch.
Bunny Ranch.
Yeah,
it was called
Bunny
Bunny
Ranch.
House.
Okay.
But yes, it was on the Bunny Ranch.
Because there was also that one where Hugh Hefner was alive, where he had the 3 girlfriends or whatever, but that was like an E or one
that
of
was
those.
different.
Yeah.
Bunny House is.
But yeah, Max had a lot of
imagine
crazy stuff.
Dude, imagine that. No, HBO, not Max.
Sorry, HBO.
Imagine
HBO
this.
had what, like Taxi Cab Confessions?
Yes, Taxi
and-
Cab
yeah.
Confessions. Dude,
That's what I'm saying. So they knew what they could get away with.
I really want you to think about this. Not that you and I would do this, but imagine you're this unhappy husband, all right,
Definitely.
working at the fucking stock market in New York, right? You fucking
So that's an episode.
you fly down to Arizona,
Yeah.
okay? You get there and your buddy's, giving you bumps of cocaine. He's like, "Hey, let's go to this fucking bunny ranch." What's a bunny ranch?
Speaking of cocaine.
Yeah. What's the bunny ranch? And he tells you, "Oh, dude, it's a great place. You walk in there, you go to the bar, you talk to these ladies, and then they take you in the back.
Take your pick.
You swipe your MasterCard, your Amex, you put it on the company, on the old stockbroker account, and then you can have a great time. And then he finally convinces you, begrudgingly you go, your marriage isn't going well, and then the second you walk in, what do you see? A fucking camera. And you're like, shit.
I'm done for anyways now.
So then they line them all they line them all up, and they're like, "Hey, Jonathan," pats you on the back, "Which one would you like?"
See, but then it goes into, in those scenarios, how much of that might be fake.
I'm willing to bet.
Might just be a
if
single
I Google
dude,
it, someone got fucked in the wrong way.
Oh,
at the
for
bunny
sure.
house. I guarantee.
For
Thank you
sure.
very much.
End up coughing up. There you go. So that's the first.
This is
the
the
first
This is
official
the first official, yeah.
cafecito of. Let me lower this now a little bit.
Comics.
Of comics, collectibles, and coffee.
Hang on.
Or
Put this on the other
cafecitos.
side. Give it a little
Comics,
cheer, buddy.
collectibles, and cafecitos.
There we go.
It's piping hot. So.
I'm used to it. I specifically didn't make one today because I knew you were going to make some. Yeah, good
That
job.
good, man?
Okay, so now Spawn, off Bunny.
Too sweet? Like,
No, it's
you feel
perfect.
foot coming off, or we're good?
Foot coming off?
Yeah, like diabetics when you have to like amputate a
Jesus,
foot.
Ram Fam Collectibles did not say that comment about diabetics.
I'm telling you, insult. It's something that can happen when you're diabetic. So it's actually you're diabetic. You gotta
That's a
make
good
sure
point.
you check your sugar. Actually, I think we'll do that one episode one day.
Check our sugar.
I'll bring the glucose.
Oh, let's check it before and after.
Yeah, before and after.
Do you have a glucose thingy?
Yeah, I got. It's always good to have one in the house in case you never know when someone's sugar. I have
I
diabetics
have
in my family
never
and
heard
stuff.
of that before in my life.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's probably why.
Well, it's like a blood pressure machine or an oxidomizer.
Never.
You need to upgrade your,
my
your
dad
first aid kit, man.
had a had one of those. It's just
Oh,
like,
good. I was gonna say pause it.
click a,
Did you pause it? Did it freeze?
no, he's talking to him.
Oh, that's why we don't hear because it's like a telepathic conversation.
Yeah, it's a telepathic
Yeah.
conversation. So he, you prick your finger and then
Yeah,
you
that's the glucose.
poop
Yeah,
it out.
for your sugar.
And he did that, and this was like 15 years ago, and I wonder why I did it. And his aunt, my great aunt, was a diabetic, and that's when I first realized it. And he was
it's
like,
just-
"Yeah, I always have it in case I'm with her."
Well,
and she
it's
doesn't
for
have it."
the other way too, because sometimes, like especially now, a lot of people like that's something I'm looking into too, like intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
which is becoming a very common lifestyle because it actually is healthy when you do it right, and a lot of people are getting great results
Mm-hmm.
from stuff like that. But things you want to check is they have like a thing to check your ketones, which is basically how your body breaks down sugar. So you also do a glucose
Yeah.
because you also want to make sure your sugar's not too low. Because you have some people that they don't feel well, like faint, and it can just be that and have a soda and relax.
My wife and I, my wife, like taught me about hangry. And like if you don't eat, you get upset. And like there was one day.
You mean
where
she just helped you identify what you were
Yeah,
having?
yeah. What emotional roller coaster I was going through. Maybe this is frozen.
I think it did freeze. We pause it.
I skipped 10 seconds. Let's see what happens.
It might have been maybe the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is feeling.
There you go.
rough. There you go.
I don't know what I was saying.
About your wife about
hangry.
hangry.
Yeah. So like one day, like I think I was telling you this last time, but there was a bunch of plates and stuff in the way on our island. I couldn't sit down and eat.
Yeah.
Like before I knew it, it was like 3:00, and eventually I had like a toaster strudel or something, and I ate something else, and then like eventually I went up to her and I was like, "Hey, my bad." Yeah, it turns out I was just hungry. I had
Yeah,
like
Snickers.
3 bananas.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
so
I had a couple
basically-
bananas, some strudels and shit.
You're basically your Denzel on Training Day. And then
Yeah,
all of a sudden
yeah,
you're
yeah.
kinda like, oh God, King Kong had nothing
Yeah.
to be in this kitchen.
Except he had a worse fate
Yeah,
than I
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Speaking of fates, isn't it crazy that
This scene.
he was so?
This scene's Bunny Ranch right now. So yeah, there's those type of
Someone's
scenes.
getting fucked.
No, the background, the guy. Watch, I'll show him now. The guy's like, it's like The Sopranos.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
before
This is the
Sopranos.
big guy. Yeah, this is the big guy.
This anime series is before Sopranos. So the
no
big
shit.
heavy guy that they're gonna show now.
Yeah.
Again, I'm only episode 1 or 2 ahead of me. But yeah, they're right there. Look at that. This is
Giant
this
tits.
stuff's happening.
So-
but Sopranos you do it all the time because the bada bing. You know,
Yeah. No, this
stuff
guy's
happening
definitely
in the
soprano
background.
material. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff happening in the background, but this is not in the background.
wife
They're like
was-
centering. Like, what are you watching?
My wife was walking by when we were watching. She's like, "What is this?" And
So
I was like, "This is
my
Spawn." This is
my
homework.
embarrassing moment was again, like I said, I hadn't done my homework. So last night, because my folks are over after having a dinner with the for my stepdad for his birthday, I'm like, oh, I got to do my homework. So I forgot that there were scenes like this in this. So I'm watching that. It's like watching Game of Thrones with your parents. This is weird, man.
I've never seen.
I'm an adult. They're adult, but the same things like that. Like one day your kids are gonna be adults. You're not gonna want to watch this with them, even though they're adults. Like I'm not sitting in the room with you. So it's like I
want to see her titties.
Yeah, and
then I don't want you to see me seeing her titties.
Exactly. And and the thing is. And it's that. It's like how long is this scene? Like, you want it to be over?
Yeah.
Like
you're not listening to what the guy's saying. You're just like, fucking titties out of the scene.
Well, at that 13, 14-year-old boy, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta monitor. Who you let watch this.
This guy's really. I like him. His whole
the dialogue's great in this.
This guy too.
Yeah,
I really like him. He called in an assassin.
Yep.
And he goes, by the time I hang up this phone, he better be over the Atlantic. I'm like, whoa, that's fucking.
Don't mess around. No, it's the dialogue, and this is great. Dude. Yeah, you know what it is? It's that era. It's the Goodfellas, Casino.
Yeah.
Era of like
Heat.
of like mob movies. Heat, exactly. Like so, it was the era with that style of crime, verbiage and dialogue, getting away from. Yeah, you know it.
Every day, baby.
Sipping it, dude. I'm telling you, we're doing the glucose.
We should do that next time.
We should do it.
We'll make it the glucose test episode. Yeah, and this guy's like, so the senators, dude, this show is wild. Like, when you really, like, I kind of liked it. I didn't think I would like it as much, but I knew it was good.
I knew you would. You were excited. So, reference, if you jump to this episode before you saw episode 0 of what we're doing here.
That's a long episode.
Yeah.
I'm just going to...
we're going to break it up. We're going to break it up. We're going to go part 1, part 2, part 3.
I think that's yours.
No, that's yours. I filled yours higher. Yeah, I promise.
I pulled it.
No, it's yours. I pulled yours closer. I didn't want as much. I had coffee this morning. I did. That's why. That's why I'm yours, and I didn't leave most of it for you. That's why I'm sipping accordingly.
I'm just going for it. It's not as hot.
I had actually, friends, I had a macchiato because I went to not Argentinian. I went to a Venezuelan place. Best. So they don't do like cortaditos, but it's the same thing. A macchiato, same thing. It's
chorizo.
It's milk with the
not chorizo.
They do
chicharrón.
Yeah, but they also do tequeños there.
Oh,
but they
beautiful.
do like small.
Cheese
the place I go to, I'll give them a shout out. I don't care. They ain't paying me, but I love them anyways. Out in Weston, Gourmet Cafe.
Gourmet Cafe.
Yeah, dude, they're awesome, dude. And they're actually in the Bay Area. So
nice.
They don't have like an open shopping complex, but they make great stuff. They do like diarepas with like
stuffed it. Yeah,
stuff.
Dude,
like it's like ends up being like this tall.
It's like a gyro.
Yeah, ever seen Simpsons? Remember the Simpsons when Homer was trying to lose weight and Marge puts him like on rice cakes and she goes, "It's 0 calories. You can put a couple of things on it." Like, dude, they show him it's like bacon, ham, like the rice cakes inside, and he's sitting outside the microwave like only 200 calories. He's like, yeah, it ain't 200
That's
calories.
a really good
more.
Marge, by the way.
It's great, dude. He's like, woohoo! But and that's what it is. They stuff it so much, and their names are like the Mad Wolf, like all these.
It's just
names.
like an open-faced empanada.
So they do these tequeños instead of just the one long tequeño. It's like a bunch of little shorter ones, and they give you like a cilantro sauce and a thing. Like, oh, dude, it's so good.
I'm gonna talk to Josie on my way home, and I'm just gonna
week.
pick up some Venezuelan food.
There you go. Graciano's.
There's
another great place.
I go to the Dollar General because I buy tape from there. Because I need tape when I do my whatever bullshit. Anyways, and right next to it is a Venezuelan place. Oh, I love it. They had a fucking, what is it? It's a guava donut. Oh, dude, it was just sitting out. Just made it fresh, full of sugar. You know, that really fine sugar right up. Dude, I picked it up. I was like, I don't care how much this is, but I want it. And I was eating it while I was ordering my other shit.
Comics, collectibles, and comida.
Comida, that's a good one.
We'll always change the last C. We'll figure it. Always make it work.
It just depends what we're doing that
with
day.
the cocktail, with comida.
Now,
but Verminator, dude.
What's really cool about this, too.
But it's episode 2 now, right?
No, this is episode 1 still.
Oh, this is episode 1.
Yes, they're wrapping up episode 1.
That's right.
So this is a good time. All right, so what's wild about this is that you find out, I mean, there's a huge universe here.
Yeah.
But they have a senator that's being influenced negatively by this big bad mob guy.
Demon, yeah.
I'm not gonna start it. I'm just gonna let it go and then okay. So you have this big bad guy who has dirt on the senator, and the senator's son picks up little girls and boys, either rapes them and murders them, or just murders them. And and you see there's a scene. I think it's this episode.
I think that this is all resolved season 1. It's like, so I think they go,
and he's like protecting him. He's like, no, that's my boy. I'm not gonna let anything happen. Like, dude, you're a parent and you fucking know that your son's doing this, and you had to turn to this mob guy, and the mob guy's like, anyone that even hints at it,
evil.
Police, law enforcement, anybody.
That's what the show's about. Evil.
We just fucking destroy.
It's about evil. I mean,
unreal.
It's incredible. And I mean, it's funny because he's an anti-hero, but you look at it, he was an assassin for
The government.
The American government.
Yeah.
So you would think, well, especially in the late 90s, 2000s, we're the good guys, for the most
Right.
part. Now it's the common theme that we're the bad guys.
Right.
But at that time, it's like America, we're always the good guys
Right.
in every movie and everything. And they're already showing the concept that, yeah, he worked for the American government, but because he was an assassin, evil. Still evil. You murdered people. Didn't matter if they were bad people, good. You murdered people,
Right.
you go to hell. And then from there becomes a hell spawn. So as I was saying, it's like that's what the personifying is heavily into the theme of evil, and then they go into what's actually good. And it's like you said, that's what you see. Like the best friend wasn't in that degree of the agency, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's why. And he's a good person. And I mean, they get into that, but that's what's incredible about it. It's like as we go through the series, and we're going to be talking about it, there's redeeming factors and there's retribution, but only to a certain extent.
Right.
Because no matter what, he still has to do his time.
And I like how Todd forecasted this whole thing. He was like, hey, man, you're not always all good and you're not always all bad. Like, even the good people have a little bit of bad, and even the bad people have a little bit of good. But what matters is, like, what you're doing in general. And I think Spawn's a really good example. It seems like from these episodes, it seems like he wants to do good. Not like specifically, but like he helps these. He helped that.
I think, and that's what it is. There's something like because and that's what it becomes about. And I think the path and the journey, if I remember right, and obviously if we go episode to episode, and get together for this to talk about these when we do some episodes specifically for that, for Spawn. I think the overall journey is that it becomes, and we get deep, and that's the point of a deep dive, and it's an older show. A lot of people don't watch it, so hopefully
go watching it. HBO Max, baby. Yeah, 30-day free trial.
We're not fully spoiled yet. This week you can watch this. We're gonna get deeper and more spoiling as we go, and this week you could take this journey with us. And I think there's a lot of people from when this show has arrived that haven't seen this.
Yeah.
And I think no matter what, it's a great a piece of artwork. It's a great piece of entertainment and drama, and we could dive deep. And that's one of the things I'm going to see, that his journey is going to elevate that he wants to be good for her.
Yeah.
For his wife.
For the wife. Yep.
For the reason he came back. For the reason he sold his soul. And he sold his soul, and that's where it becomes something. This individual thing is like, you shouldn't sell your soul for someone, no matter who it is, because it's a unique and important thing. And the journey is, he no longer is good for her. It's about being good for him.
Yeah.
Like being good to be good. Not because of a specific person you want to be good for, or someone you're trying to impress, like to be good for the sake of being good.
Yeah.
And that's the journey that he has to make, because she's the trigger, she's what ignites it for him. But that's what it is. There's he's gotten so, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I like how it starts. Like you said, the first good deed he does that they show us in the show is in the alley. He's lost and basically in the alley, and he's helping a guy, and it ends up not going well.
Oh, by the way, that guy sets himself on fire.
I know, exactly. Well, and because Fafo, man, fuck around, find out. He think I'm gonna let you burn. Like, I really thought, I forgot. I was like, doesn't he put him out? I'm like, I guess I remember something different. I had a what's it called? The Mandela effect. That, like, I remembered something different than what happened. Like, I could have sworn he put him out with his cape. You know what I mean? Like,
not even close, buddy.
Guess not.
Like,
he's not there yet. Yeah. But something in him intrigued him to help that person at that moment. And there was a little bit of good that triggered. And I think is that because now he's gone so dark. It's almost like when you hit bottom. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like for alcoholics, things like that, talking about the hit bottom. That now he's gone so dark that now he is seeking the light.
Yeah.
You know, while he was able to justify it, he's married to his wife. He had a good wife. He had a good family life, with that in his marriage. And he had a good home. So when he went out and did the murders as an assassin, basically, he justified it as,
I'm protecting
I'm
them.
doing it for the better good, and I'm protecting her, and you know what I mean. And there's killing and murder aren't the same thing, you know what I mean. And they get into that, and that's why I like that, because I get worried at first that the stance they take is like, oh, well, he was just a killer. No, he was a murderer. He didn't. There was certain circumstances like, well, you killed that person to get to that. I'm like, that's not always okay. Right. You know what I mean? There's a very lot of
what is the saying? Like the
path to evil is built on good intentions.
That's a good one.
Yeah, which is similar to that.
But yeah, the ends justify the means.
Yeah, the ends justify the means, and a lot of times that is
like,
true.
I killed that big big head honcho. Yeah. That was had all his hands in these like dirty
pockets. But it took him out to kill every maid in his kitchen.
But I had to blow up a school.
Exactly.
Fuck, dude. Like, I don't know about that one, man. There wasn't another way.
And that's what it is. And at the end of the day, you do the best you can, and then you find out, in the end, in this universe, what's going to happen. Yep.
Fuck around.
Find out.
Find out.
FAFO, that's a new one. So we had for the buck or the fuck, but now
Love it.
FAFO.
Awesome. All right. Well, this is the first episode. HBO. I'm sorry. Now it's called Max.
Spawn.
Or HBO Spawn.
Episode 1 is just Spawn.
Yeah, 25 minutes. This
it's not.
really
they're
good for anyone
under
that
half
likes
hour an
graphics.
episode. 3 seasons, 6 episodes a season.
fuck,
This
18
is gonna be an
episodes?
easy binge. It's
Yeah, dude.
gonna be fun, and it's something we're gonna do.
Any superhero fanatic will love
I know.
this.
I loved it. I loved it. I'm glad that happened. That you
Yeah.
hadn't seen it because I'm getting to rewatch it. I'm getting to relive it.
Yeah, it's good.
And I'll tell you, I'll give you more homework because, like I said, and check out Fanatically Correct. We have necessities on every episode, and that there's a lot of that. We have like shows like Misfits and things like that, and we'll give a brief description and just end on the necessity. So, but that was it. So that's So Spawn. So I'm glad I had the opportunity and that we're going to do this because it's fun to deep dive on that and follow those episodes, all the new stuff that's out right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Ton of shit. This is just old stuff too.
Yes.
Relevant stuff.
Gen V. I just got into
Dude,
that.
I just watched. I binged all 3 episodes yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I saw the first 2 in the theater. So we're gonna end on that note. Okay. So
we'll talk about that next episode.
Yeah.
Comics, collectibles, and coffee.
You're right. Yeah,
Check
you go.
us out.
Comics, collectibles, and coffees. Fanatically Correct. Check
Ram
us
Fam
out.
Collectibles.
You know it, and just some good stuff coming out. So in the next episode, check out. We're gonna talk some about the stuff you got going on. Thank you for joining us.
And there you have it, folks. This has been Comics, Collectibles, and Cafecito. You crazy kids.
Obey all robots.